Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought, why did I say yes to that? Or why did I explain myself again? Or why do I feel guilty for wanting space or my boundaries to be adhered to? And maybe you've told yourself, I just need to control my emotions better. But what if it's not about controlling your emotions and it's actually about emotional intelligence? What if it is the wisdom that lies behind emotional intelligence? Because in the yogic model, emotions live in the Manomaya Kosha, the mind feelings layer. That's where waves arise, fear, grief, anger, longing, and the stories that we attach to them as well. But emotional maturity happens when we don't only live on this Manomaya Kosha, but we're able to access the Vijñānamaya Kosha. That layer goes deeper, and it's the layer of discernment, of inner guidance, the part of you that can choose to be the witness to it all. So today we're going to reframe emotional intelligence through the koshas, not how do I stop feeling, but how do I feel fully without abandoning myself? How do I protect my energy quietly without hardening my heart? Because trust me, we don't need more people like that in this world. We need your heart. We need your emotions. The world needs it. And there will also be a simple practice that you can use in real life, in relationships, boundaries, working in your own inner dialogue. Because trust me when I tell you, you're not too emotional. You're just learning to become more self-led and be governed more from your inner higher self. And if the word koshas is new to you, here's the simplest way to understand it all. In yoga, the koshas are 5 layers of your experience, from the most physical that we can see to the most subtle, which we obviously cannot see. Think of them like 5 lenses you can look through to understand what's happening inside you. So the Annamaya Kosha is the physical layer. It's your body, it's your sensations, the muscles, the organs, the tension, the fatigue, everything you can see and feel. Then deeper than that, the Pranamaya Kosha is the breath. That's the energy layer, the life force, the nervous system currents, the breath, the prana, the vital energy, the steadiness, the vitality within us, the depletion. It all comes from this kosha. The Manomaya Kosha is the mind, the feelings layer. And these are the thoughts, the emotions, and the stories your mind forms quickly. It's the worry, the reactivity, the fear, the longing, all of those things. Vijñānamaya Kosha goes even deeper. It's the wisdom layer. It's that eye of discernment. It's our values, our intuition, the part of you that can witness and choose. And then even deeper is the Anandamaya Kosha. It is that deep peace layer, bliss. It is not constant happiness. It's more like an underlying sense of being held, of being connected, of being in a steady relationship with your inner self with a higher consciousness. Here's a simple way to remember it. You've got the body, the physical, then beneath that, more subtle, you've got the breath, and then you've got the mind where the emotions are, and then deeper than that, the wisdom, and beneath that is a deeper layer of peace and bliss. So simply put, Manomaya feels and Vijñānamaya knows and discerns. Emotional intelligence is at learning to let them work together. Manomaya is your inner weather, the emotions, the thoughts, the reactions, the meanings we attach to these things. And Vijñānamaya is your inner compass. It's the discernment. It's your values. It's your inner intuition, the part that can pause and really choose from a place of stillness rather than a reflexive action. So low emotional intelligence often looks like merging the emotions, that this is who I am, reacting from a place of urgency, the rajas, or a shutdown, which is the numbing or outsourcing, and that's the tamas. And the whole idea is to come into emotional maturity, which is when you can say that a wave is here. I don't have to become that wave. I can listen and respond from wisdom, and that's the Vijñānamaya Kosha coming in. And that's the foundations of everything that we're going to talk about in this video. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Taj Bear. This channel is all about unpicking ancient wisdom for modern life. Now, do you know what emotionally intelligent people are really good at doing? They are brilliant at protecting their energy quietly, not with drama, not with announcing boundaries on social media, not with big speeches, but quietly, because they've learned something quite deep. Yes, pranic shakti, energy, life force, chi, is infinite, but energy is not disposable. Their energy is not disposable. So they stop leaking it. They stop donating their attention to what dysregulates them. They stop over-explaining what their body already knows is a no. They stop paying for connection with self-betrayal. In Ayurveda, we would say that this is them protecting their ojas. Ojas is the essence of vitality. It's what builds our immunity. It's the emotional resilience. Now, ojas is depleted by constant overgiving, by overstimulation, by emotional suppression, and chronic people-pleasing. And in yoga, we'd say that we're practicing pratyahara, and pratyahara is not avoidance, but is the art of drawing your energy inward, not as an avoidance, but as sovereignty. So emotionally intelligent people don't always look powerful on the external. They often look quite calm, and they have this presence of knowing exactly who they are, exactly what their boundaries are. Not because they don't feel, but because they don't abandon themselves when they do feel, when they come across these emotions. And here's the part that changes everything, that these quiet boundaries aren't cold, they're wise. Manomaya Kosha, the feelings layer, is finally allowed to feel without driving the whole life, because those individuals, Vijñānamaya Kosha, that wisdom layer, that's where they are led from. And here's what they do daily. And it's almost boring, but boring is beautiful because it's consistent. They pause before they respond, not because they're trying to be perfect, but because they know that Manomaya can often speak fast, but Vijñānamaya speaks clearly. So when you're speaking from your Manomaya Kosha, it's urgency. When you're speaking from your Vijñānamaya Kosha, it is in sattva and it is in clear, concise communication. They notice what drains them. They don't call it being dramatic. They call it data from their inner self. They don't chase connections that cost them their nervous system. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They will always honor their yes and their no. They don't say yes out of fear and call it kindness. They repair conflict and issues very quickly and cleanly. They don't defend their ego for 3 weeks. They come back to the truth every time. This is not a personality type. This is a practice of living from the Vijñānamaya Kosha, from that inner wisdom. Now let's define emotional intelligence. Let's be clear, it's not never being triggered and always remaining calm and collected, always being nice, always being in this high vibe and always positive, or being so spiritual that you can kind of float above human feelings. Emotional intelligence is none of these things. It's in fact about having a relationship with your inner world. It's noticing and recognizing anger isn't bad. it's actually information. This sadness I'm feeling is not weakness, it's a release. This anxiety is not random, it's my system asking for safety. In yoga, this is known as the niyama of svadhyay, which is self-study, not self-judgment. There's a big difference. It's self-study. And Ayurveda gives us this in the language of gunas, that of rajas being urgency, agitation, rumination, and heat, and tamas being shutdown, heaviness, numbness, and sattva being steadiness, clarity, and inner light. And here's the key. When you're in rajas or tamas, you tend to live only in the Manomaya Kosha, that mind and feelings layer. When you cultivate sattva, you're in the Vijñānamaya. That becomes more available to you. So emotional intelligence is the ability to feel what you feel. You're in your Manomaya Kosha, but you choose to respond and honor that which is your truth, the Vijñānamaya Kosha, that wisdom sheath. Now, here's the issue. Most of us were trained out of ourselves. We were told, don't be too difficult, don't be too sensitive, don't be too much, and don't you dare make it awkward for people, and don't rock the boat. So we have learned over time to override our signals. And eventually the body starts speaking louder. That's when we start developing anxiety, tight chest, clenched jaw, migraines, headaches after we are in the company of certain people. And then we wonder, why do I feel weird? And feeling like, you have this inner energy that you can't explain. Ayurveda would say that the body is always communicating. Yoga would say that the mind carries impressions, sanskaras, that shape how you interpret the present. So sometimes you're not responding to the moment, you're responding to an old imprint that the moment touches. And emotional intelligence is the moment you stop gaslighting that messenger. You stop calling your intuition overthinking. You stop calling your needs as being too much. And you stop calling your discomfort, oh, it's nothing. No, it's okay. I'm okay. You actually start listening and practicing love. Let's be clear about one thing. Self-love isn't forcing yourself to be okay. Now, this is where I've seen lots of toxic conversations and lots of toxic teachings. It's not be grateful. It's not don't feel that, just think positive and other people have it worse. That is not self-love. That's dismissal. Self-love is, in fact, listening. It's saying, tell me the truth. What's happening inside me? It's asking, what do I need right now? What is this emotion trying to protect? In yoga, that is the yama ahimsa, non-violence, not just towards others, but towards yourself as well. Because self-violence looks like pushing through when you are feeling depleted, staying in dynamics that dysregulate you, overriding your no, performing peace while your body is screaming. And in Ayurveda, when you constantly suppress or override, you're actually burning through your ojas, that vitality, that emotional resilience, that immunity that we have within us. So listen, this is not about indulging every emotion, but understanding it so it doesn't have to shout. Let's do a quick practice right now, if you are in a space to do that, or you can come back to it later. Place one hand on your heart. Here, I want you to ask yourself, what am I feeling? Name it gently, just one word. Now place the other hand on your belly. Ask yourself, what is true right now? Not the whole story, just simply the now. Take a deep breath in through the nose and soft sigh out from the mouth. And ask and listen, what is the most aligned next choice? And simply notice what comes up. Now, this is a practice that you can do anytime you're feeling a trigger, you're feeling like you are in the rajas or tamas, which is either urgency or shutdown, to come back to yourself and connect with the Manomaya Kosha, but also tap in to the Vijñānamaya Kosha. This is emotional intelligence. It's not about control, rather relationship. This is the heart. Most people don't suffer because they're too emotional. They suffer because they keep leaving themselves, abandoning themselves, self-betrayal. And it sounds like it's fine when really it isn't. I don't want to be difficult. So you just disappear into the background and you don't listen to your inner voice. I'm overreacting. So you end up just swallowing the truth and suffer for it with any sort of ailment that comes up in your body. Chronic pain, to name one. I'll just do it. Fine. And the resentment grows quietly within you. Now, emotionally intelligent people don't necessarily have fewer triggers. That's not the point. They just don't make the triggers the captain of their ship. They let Manomaya, the mind layer, speak freely. They don't suppress it. And then they let Vijñānamaya, the wisdom layer, lead. Manomaya wants to be understood. Vijñānamaya wants to be in alignment. And alignment is what ends that self-betrayal. Now let's make this real. You've WhatsApped your partner, your friend, your boyfriend, whoever, and they don't reply. Immediately, even though it shows the blue tick and everything, in your Manomaya, you think, oh my God, they didn't reply. I'm being rejected. Why? Why are they not replying? You start overthinking, going into rajas. The Vijñānamaya says, the fact is, no reply yet. My system is interpreting silence as danger, as rejection. The aligned response is, I'm going to ground myself before I assume anything. If I need clarity, I can ask clearly. Another example, you've said to your family member, don't comment on my physical appearance. And at a family gathering, what do? Exactly that. They comment on your weight, the way you look, whatever. Manomaya says, if I don't justify it, they'll be upset. If I don't explain it properly, they'll be upset. Vijñānamaya says, my boundary doesn't need a courtroom. The aligned response would be, I've told you before, don't comment on my physical appearance. And so stop. Full stop. That's it. A friend who's always complaining, whenever you talk to them and is draining your energy, Manomaya says, but they need me. I can't be selfish. I have to be there for them. Vijñānamaya says, support without self-abandonment. Okay? I care about you. This is the aligned response. I care about you, but I'm not available for that intensity right now. You're tired and your body says, no. Manomaya says, push through. Don't be lazy. These are the samskaras, the pre-lived experiences and inner dialogue. Vijñānamaya says, this is depletion. Rest is wise. The aligned response would be, I want to protect my ojas. I will return to rhythm. This is how emotional intelligence becomes lived. It's not a concept. It's a daily practice of self-trust, of returning back to yourself. In the long run, emotional intelligence builds confidence, and confidence doesn't need to be loud. Confidence comes back to self-trust again, and self-trust is built every time you listen to your inner dialogue, your inner guidance, and act accordingly from that space of Vijñānamaya Kosha. So every time you honor your no, every time you tell your truth sooner, every time you stop forcing yourself to fit into places, people, and patterns that do not align, every time you choose your nervous system regulation over external validation and approval, leaving what harms you without needing to punish or announce it. You don't need to. You become someone that you can rely on for yourself. In yoga, this is thira, steadiness. In Ayurveda, this is ojas, that resilience. It's not fragile, it is confidence. It is not a performance, but it's a grounded knowing, I've got me. This leads to self-love, which isn't a glow up. It's not a reinvention, but it's a devotion. It's quiet, it's consistent, and it's aligned choices. Going to bed when you need to, feeding yourself like you matter, not chasing dynamics that spike your anxiety and that fight or flight in you, making time to breathe, for silence, for yourself, for self-care, choosing sattva, the clarity, the steadiness over stimulation. Because the nervous system learns through repetition. Your inner world calms, not because life on the external becomes perfect, but because your system starts trusting. I will not abandon you. So remember, emotional intelligence is not about controlling emotions. It's about understanding them. Self-love is not about becoming someone new. It's about coming back to yourself. When you listen inward, life begins to feel calmer. Choices feel clearer. Love feels safer, not because life is perfect, but because you are finally on your own side. And that changes everything, everything. So if this resonated with you, I have a free guide, which I think you'll love. It's called From Reset to Rhythm. It's a gentle journal practice to help you back to your inner rhythms, back to yourself without urgency, back to that inner steadiness. Because so many of us don't need another reset. We just need to come back to our daily rhythms and that we can actually live by. Okay, the link is in the description if you want it. And tell me in the comments, which part of you speaks loudest? Is it the Manomaya, the mind feelings layer? Is it the Vijñānamaya, the wisdom? And there's no judgment at this at all. It's just about awareness. I really hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here, your time, your energy, and your presence. May you always be guided by your inner light and wisdom. See you in the next video.